Hey guys, welcome back to the last part of this playlist. So this is going to be part 5 to the Marvel project. Here we're gonna finish up some things on this project, and then we're gonna render it to a server so it could be viewed online. So, last we left off, we said we were done with this, but I remembered we forgot to put uh we left this div open. We forgot to put something in this div. And within this div, let me just start this. Okay, so everything still works as is. There you go. So what we want to do is within this div, we want to give um we want to acknowledge Marvel here, so we want to say copyright Marvel. What we want to do is let's just console log here, console.log character data. There we go. Okay, now let's go over here, inspect console, Thor. So I don't know why this is. Say Thor. And if you look here in data, oh, sorry, right at the top here, it says attribution text, one of them, data provided by Marvel, copyright 2023. We want to put that right here. So whenever Marvel gets their credit, and whenever anyone uses your app, they can clearly tell it does come from Marvel. So what I want to do is say character. Within that div, we want to say character data dot, and we just look for what it says, attribution text. If I spelled that correctly. Let's make sure I spelled that correctly. Okay, so let's close this. So if we say for, let's say text white. Yep, there it is. So right there, data provided by Marvel, copyright 2023 Marvel. So if we have nothing there, it's not going to work. Also, here, link to this. So what we're going to say is, actually, I'm not sure if I had this in the last one. So let me just redo this. Actually, make it easier. Copy. We're just going to comment it out. Awesome. So if you look over here, what we're actually doing is saying we're getting this link from React router DOM. So what we're saying is link in caps. And we're saying to this path, which in where is it, app.js, we said this takes us to the home. So we have that, and then we're going back to search. So this, and we're giving it a h1. We open another, and we say h1 class name. We're giving it a padding of 5. Text is 7.5. So this should already be there. I'm just redoing it since I commented it out. font bold. This is for where it's supposed to say Marvel characters. We already have that. We just didn't have this link to. So the whole h1 tag is going to be within the link to tags. So font bold, P5, all this part you most likely don't have to do. I just forgot if I already did it in the last video. We don't have to have this twice. All right, so I made an error somewhere. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Also forgot to write Marvel characters. There we go. It's right there. Okay, so we want to add to this link a refresh on-click function. So meaning if I click this Marvel characters, whenever I click it, the page refreshes, just like if you click any logo on any website. So here, what we want to say is, I already did it here, but I commented it out. So let's say, we're going to say const navigate is equal to use navigate function. And you should see the use navigate import from React Router DOM here. And this navigate variable is gonna represent use navigate function here. So we're gonna say const page. We're just gonna call it page refresh. You can call it whatever you want. Page refresh is equal to. We're gonna use the arrow function and say navigate 0. Awesome. We're gonna just check this out. And now we're going to take this constant page refresh, come down here and say on click page refresh. Let's check this out. Cool. So now if I said Thor search, we have all this with the data provided by blah blah, and I can do this, and we're back to nothing. Cool. Okay, so that was pretty much the last part of the actual coding tutorial. So now let's get to the rendering. Okay, so now to render onto Hostinger, let's just go to hostinger.com. So for Hostinger, it's not a free service. It's more of a paid hosting service. They do have a lot of specials, so like a free domain, 24-hour customer support, so things like that. If you don't want to use a paid service such as Hostinger, we're also going to render this on render.com, which is a free alternative. The difference is just the speed at which it would load, but it's free. So before I go into it though, there is a VPS service they offer, and the VPS helps to deploy the server side of our application. So basically everything within this server side. I do not have a VPS service. I only use them strictly for like a full React side project or just a front end component of my project. So that's what we're going to be doing here. We're just going to be deploying the front end part onto the client part onto Hostinger and everything else onto render for the backend. So let's go to login. That we're logged in, we can go over to domain here. So just hit manage on your account, or just go to hosting. That's easier. So just go to hosting at the top here, and then go to manage where you see your website domain. Then we're gonna go to file manager, and just give it a few seconds here. Okay, so you're gonna see a folder called public HTML. We're gonna click on that, And these are all the websites I currently have running, or just folders I have within, yeah, these are all the websites I have running, or things that pertain to it. So we're going to create a new folder, and we're going to call this Marvel app. And we're going to come back here to Visual Studio Code, or whatever you're using the code, or your code editor is. So we're going to say, in client part, we're going to come down to package.json. And what we're going to do is say, we're going to add another um, input called homepage. And for the homepage, since this is going to be called whatever your domain is, slash the name of this folder, mine's going to be boat. Mine's going to be https boatluna.io slash marvel app. So, and then lastly, we're going to go to this. So let's go to components here. Public, oh, not public, src. I don't know why I'm blanking. And then we're going to go to search. So you see here where it says link to, we're going to come back to that, and we're going to say slash marvel app. And that's because this is going to be your domain name slash this path, Marvel app. So whenever it loads up, it's linking to this Marvel app. And that's pretty much, oh yeah, when you also have to come to app.js and do the same thing here, Marvel app. And just make sure you save it. Let's go back here and save this. Cool. So lastly, on this part, what you're gonna do is clear, and then you're gonna say npm run build. So this is to optimize. It's gonna tell you here, actually it's gonna optimize production build. And then it should say your project was built assuming it is hosted at your domain slash the path. You can control this with the homepage field, which we already did. So when you do that, what I want to come in here and do is go to go to build, and then go to where it says index.html. Gonna make this viewable. Okay. So in the title, it should say React app. I'm gonna change it to Marvel app. We don't need a hyphen. So just Marvel app. So this is what's gonna show. You can choose to change the logo, and all the other stuff. It's pretty straightforward on how to change the logo. So the href here, where's the logo? The logo icon is marvel.app/favicon.ico. Favicon.ico is here. If I click on it, it just shows me this React icon. You can just delete this and put something else in there, and then just make sure you rename it this if you don't want to change it here. So you can just rename it to whatever, to favicon.ico under a different image, with a different image. Then you do the same thing for these two. Their icons is Apple Touch icon, and then you just do it for the same thing here. It's pretty straightforward. If you want, you can leave a comment in the comment section on how to do that on the next project, and I can just show you. But that's besides the point. We have a build. Let me just clear everything out here. We don't need this to run right now, so we just clear this. So we go to build, and I say reveal in Finder. Let's minimize that. Open this. It should give you 8 files. And what you want to do is just bring those 8 files over here. And this should be it. This is it. So you just go over here and say whatever domain / Marvel app. And give it a second to load. And there you go. So it's all done. So now, the only thing is, so this is live. So the only thing now is that when you type anything in here, nothing's going to work. Why? Because we never deployed our server side. So we're all done with the client side. We just never deployed the server. So the server we're gonna do that at on render.com. So we can go to render.com, and it's the same process with Hostinger, except it's not paid. You just have to. I'm already signed in because I have an account. You can just create create an account. This is free. Just hit like get started for free, or wherever it says sign up. It is free. Now there are paid options, but you don't need that. Just do the free one for if this is just a project you're putting in your portfolio, or just something that's not gonna need a lot of server space or anything. So yeah, so we just go into dashboards. So we're within dashboard. um as you can see, I have multiple projects on this website, on this render.com website that works. But what we're going to do is create new, and we're going to say this is a web service. So we're using, since we're using Node.js, we're going to call it a web service. Now, this one's different than Hostinger because not only that you have to pay for Hostinger, but in this one, you have to use uh, a Git repository. You have to connect a GitHub repository to it. Not necessarily GitHub. I guess you can also use GitLab, but I use GitHub. So what you're gonna have to do is, what I do is I come here. I use GitHub Desktop to create a repository for this. So you can just push it to GitHub manually using the commands, but I tend to use GitHub Desktop. So if you're using GitHub Desktop, the best thing to do is uh, delete this git.git file here. Just delete that, because it's gonna cause problems when you try to push it to Git, or put both on one repository. So there's a way to make it seen, I believe, if you go to view or something like that. But if you Google it, it'll tell you how to view the .git in your system. So if you can find it, just comment, and I'll like put out a little video on how to do that. Just, I think it only pertains to when you're using GitHub Desktop. I'm not too sure because that's the only one I use, but I digress. So we do this, and then I can come here to GitHub Desktop, and then I can just say add. To make things easier, I always just say add existing repository, and then it's not going to be able to find it. Choose Marvel YouTube. I'm going to choose that. Open. It's going to say it doesn't appear to be a Git repository. Would you like to create one? So I just do that. Everything's already there. And I just hit create repository. So close this out. As you can see, the repository is already here. And what it does is it's grabbed everything client and server. So as you can see, /server /client / it's grabbed everything, and I'm just going to publish it to GitHub. I don't want to keep this private, so I can just publish this like so. Okay, so that's done. You can tell that it's all been done, because if I click anywhere here, this sign is going to go away. This 15 should go away eventually, because it's been pushed to GitHub. I think it's probably still doing so. History, nope, it's all been pushed. All right, so we can close out of this. Eventually that would go away, so we don't have to worry about that. But since it's all in GitHub, we can close out of this right now. We're gonna have to come back to it. I guess we're gonna come back to it, so I might as well just minimize it. So minimize that, and then now this is already connected to my GitHub. I did configure it to where I need to go in to get whatever I need. So as you can see, I'm just going to sign in and only select repositories. So I can select another one, and we name this Marvel app. Yep. No, we named it Marvel YouTube. Sorry. Marvel YouTube. Just take this out. Marvel YouTube is what we named it. And then we're just going to hit save. And we come right back here. So I just, what I'm going to do, what's this? Unread message. Okay, it's not important right now. Just going to sign out. And there we go. All right. And then let me just make sure it's signed out. Yep, it's all signed out. Just for security reasons. And then we'll come here. We can hit connect. And what we're gonna do is say a unique name for your website. So I'm gonna say Marvel YouTube app. This part doesn't matter. Region, it's usually based on your location. It should give you one close to where you are. Branch main, that's fine. Root directory. So our root directory, we're gonna call it server because it's within the server directory right here. And as you can see, the number is gone. It's fully pushed. So the server here. So server, we can just leave this here. You can change this to npm, run build. Oh, sorry. There's no build command. You just leave it as is. Let's just refresh this actually. Yeah. So just leave it as yarn. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So let's just Marvel. Sorry, I don't want to make this more complicated than it should be. Remember, this is server, and then server/yarn. Just leave it at so. Leave this as node. Start command would be npm run start for the start command. Now, as I told you, it is free. If you want to select any other one, that's fine, but you really don't need it. It's your own discretion. I recommend you just go for the free one if it's just a project you're working on for fun or for your portfolio. Now, we want to go to the advanced section because remember we have things such as environmental variables and secret keys, like our .env files. So let's come here. Let's go to the server. Let's close out of all this. And remember, our get ignore doesn't have our get ignore has .env and node modules. So this wasn't part of what we of our repository. This is not in there. We have to manually put it in there via the advanced tab. So we just close it out of that. And so we can go straight into index.js, and we're gonna put this in there. So we're gonna say add environmental variables, and this we're gonna call this. We're gonna take this first, and we're gonna call it process.env.public key. We're gonna add another one, and we're gonna call this process.env.private key. Copy and paste. Awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill it. Actually, let's do one more thing. So we're gonna add a secret file, and the secret file is gonna be .env. Save. Well, it's gonna require that, and it's the .env here. I'm not gonna click on it because it has my information in there, my secret keys in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fast forward past this part and come back when everything's been filled out. Part's been done. It's above here, so it does show on the page. So I'm not gonna go back and revisit that. So we just keep scrolling. We don't need any of this. So just leave this right after add secret file. Once you do that, you don't need to do any of this. And then what you want to say is create web service. All right. So this is gonna take a little while to deploy. So what you want to do is come here and take this. It's gonna give you a URL for the website you're rendering. So since this is a server side, what you want to do is come back here to the URL and then go back here, and then now you have to connect this because this is now the server uh, link. You have to connect that to the front end. So you come here, it says source, and where's the source? You have to go back to components. There it is, and search. Now remember sorry, wrong file. So remember what we're doing is, let's see. So we come here. Give me 1 second. So we're in the client side. Source index.js. Components. There it is. So if we come here to search, remember we were posting to HTTP localhost 5000. That is no longer the case. Now the server is going to be this. So now we're linking to this server here, and we're gonna save, and then we're gonna come back also to view, and in view we're gonna do the same thing. Is it view? No, it wasn't view. Sorry, should be about. Yeah, come back to about, and we're doing the exact same thing here, and we're saving this. So in the about section, however, unlike the search section where we just have this URL as for the post, in the about section, make sure to put the path that you have in the server on the server side. So on the server side, if you go to index.js, remember it was app.post/character info. So when you do that here, just make sure it's whatever your URL is \character info, and that should work perfectly. Then we're gonna say npm cd into client. That's important. Clear npm run build one more time. And this is just to add everything we just did. And when we do that, which is, where's the build folder? There it is. Okay, so build, and then we can come here to index.html, and because it's gonna clear everything we did, and just change this to the title. Well, you don't have to change it. I just like to change it. Marvel app, and we're all set. Clear. So now if we do reveal in Finder, close this out, and we made a mistake doing this, but we'll come back to it. Go back to Hostinger. Go back to File Manager for that Marvel app. What you want to do is, so come here and delete all of this. It should be 8 in total. Yep. We're just going to delete it. Delete. And go back to that Finder. Same thing we did last time. And put over there. And we're all set. Close out of this. And we're all set. Now, this should still be working, so there's nothing wrong with that. But for this, as you can see, it says the server is running on localhost 5000. That is not what we should have. That was hard coded in. So if I go back, I closed out of it. If I go back to Marvel YouTube and I come here to server and to index.js, as you can see, it says in app.listen, it says the server is running on host name port. So for port, what we want to do is say constant port, and we want to say process. Let's move this up here, actually. Cool. Save. And then what we want to say is process.env.port. And then this that represents or. So either run on the port or run on 5,000, if that makes sense. This port refers to this, what we just wrote here refers to, for this port, it's either process.env.port, which render.com is going to give us its own port to run on, and but while we're working on this on our own server, meaning localhost, we can use 5,000 if this port isn't found. So in .env, there actually is no port. So because there's no port, if we're just running this locally on our local server, it's going to ignore process.env.port and just run on 5,000. So this signifies or. So it's either run on this port, process.env, which will be given to us by this website automatically, or it runs on 5,000 during the local stage. So also it works the same way. So if the website doesn't give us this port number, we're gonna run it on 5,000. It's just an alternative. But here it's hard coded that it only runs on localhost 5,000, which is not wise. So what we're gonna do is, so remember we save everything via GitHub desktop. So all this is changed, and we're just gonna call this update port number, and then commit and push to origin. So what we're gonna do now, let's just minimize this, is say, as you can see, although it looked like it worked, it failed, and that's mostly because of this. So let's see. Now we go to manual deploy, and then we're gonna clear the cache, and deploy. See, so what we just update port number is being registered as something in our repository also. So it's gonna take a few more minutes, but basically that's the idea behind it. Everything in the back end is all set, and everything in the front end is all set. So what we're doing is just connecting the front end to the back end. Now after this, we're gonna do the same thing with the front end portion for this. The front end portion, rendering the front end portion on render.com is a lot easier. Well, it's a lot easier than rendering the back end because you don't really have to answer that many questions. So what we're gonna do is, I already have one rendered. I'm just gonna walk it through with you like I was gonna do a new one, but I'm not gonna deploy mine. I should deploy in the way I explain it. So let's just see. Now, while that's going on, let's go to dashboard again, and let's say new. So if you're gonna deploy the front end part here, you're gonna hit static site, and you're gonna connect your repository. So let's see, I connect this. You're just gonna give it a name. For the root directory, you're gonna call it client because it's client. For the build, just think about how you started, how you ran the build command in the one we just did before we put it on Hostinger. It's going to be npm run build. For publish directory, the relative path of your directory contains build assets to publish, blah blah blah. You just hit build. You just put in build. That's it. You just, for this one, just put build. You don't need anything in the advanced. There was no env file. Just a word to the wise, you don't ever want to put an env file in the front end portion because it's easily seen if you like open the page source. And then you just hit create static site. And while you do that, just remember you should have already hooked up the back end portion to your front end. So I would always say deploy the front end first. Deploy the front end. Deploy the back end portion first, and then the front end, because that way you can get this. If I go back to dashboard, you can get this link, which you can then put into your front end to make it work. So as you can see, it says deploy live. It was successful. So if you go to it, it's not going to say anything. It's just going to say cannot get. That's it. There's nothing to, because it's a backend, so we're not getting anything from it. But if you go to your Marvel app and search, if you go here, inspect, and say console. Oh, I think we forgot to take out the console log. As you can see, it works. So what we can do is go back and take out that console log, and then it'll take it out. But as you can see, it works perfectly. Let's just go back and do that. So we don't need to do anything with this backend portion. We're all done. Just sign out. Awesome. And then let's come back here because we don't want this every time we type something out. So we can come back here to marvel.youtube. We're just going to resave it. So we're done with the server. We're done with the client. Oh, sorry, we're working on the client. So we can delete the build just so we can do everything over again. Come back to search, and I believe it was search. Yep, we console logged here. We can save, and then cd into client again, npm run build. There you go. So in the build again, we have to come back to index.html, and I'm just going to call this, remember this is optional, you don't have to do this, you can call it whatever you want. You can just call it Marvel, you can call it Marvel app, you can call it whatever you want. As long as you're not making money from it, in terms of copyright, you're not infringing on their copyright. I don't think it matters. Don't quote me on that though. I am not sure. I just use Marvel app. So we're done with that. And then we're going to come back like we did and say reveal in Finder. We're done with this, so we can close that, come back here, and we're going to select all 8 of these. Delete. If you come here, nothing should work. Yep, see, it's forbidden. There's nothing on that page. There's nothing on that link. Now if I come to Finder again, I'm on the build portion. I'm just going to take all this. Once again, it's all 8, put it there. Come back here, close this out, and we should be good again. So if I come back here and reload it, there you go. So now the backend is still working. If I say Thor, it's going to take a few minutes for the backend to come through. As you can see, if I search this, it's just pending. It's pending on this. And yep, and there you go. It worked. So console, as you can see in the console, when we hit search, nothing. So if I hit Hulk and hit search, see, nothing comes up in the console. So we're all set. So yeah, that's pretty much that's how you render stuff from the front end. I mean your from your local host to Hostinger, from your local server to Hostinger and render.com. I hope this helped. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's my first, like I said in the last video. Just let me know what you think. Leave a comment, like if you like the video, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Have a good rest of your day. Hope to see you next time.